Hello and welcome back to our podcast. My name is Dr. Alison Chiwara. I'm the CEO and founder of Human Focus Limited, a company that is truly dedicated to creating happier and healthier communities, societies, and nations. Today we're going to talk about a subject that is a little bit personal, but I hope that this will be a podcast that will give us purpose about our environments and a little bit of self-understanding. So let me begin gently. A dear acquaintance of mine once shared a song with me. The title sort of stopped me before I could actually understand the words. It was called "You Are a Container with Content." And I remember sitting with the phrase and not really rushing to get to hear what the rest of the lyrics were, but really letting it sit with me as in the title. Because the statement itself, there was something profound about it. It wasn't poetic, and in a way it was almost like, oh wow, okay, it's a fact. It wasn't motivational either, or motivational fluff either. It was almost instructional. It was almost theological. Yes, it kind of took me to church and back. It was almost psychological, and it was also very practical and very clear in what I understood, that you are a container and you carry content in you, and until you understand what you contain, you will struggle to understand where you belong. So today we are going to talk about that. You are a container with content. I want us to slow down with this one. You see, every container tells you something about what's inside it. I'll give an example of a bottle of milk. It tells you its nutritional value, its expiry date, how it should be stored, how it should even be handled. You don't put milk on a high heat shelf and then act surprised when it curdles, do you? You don't move it from extreme cold to extreme heat and then blame the milk for changing and not delivering that which you needed it to serve. I hope I'm speaking to somebody today. With milk, you adjust the environment because you respect the content. You understand what is inside the container. So let me ask you something. Do you respect what you carry? Do you respect what others carry? And here's where we often go wrong in life. We want to shine, we want to be seen, we want to be affirmed and all of these things, but we have not taken time to understand the container that we are. And so we keep placing ourselves in environments that slowly damage the content that is within us. I trust this message is for somebody for 2026. And then we call it bad luck when things go wrong. We call it spiritual attacks if we are religious. And we call it other people's faults in the first place when we put ourselves in environments that are containing the stuff our content does not agree with. But sometimes, I'm not saying all the time, it's a container problem. You are the problem. You see, neuropsychology teaches us this, and I will repeat it like a broken record, that the human brain is shaped not just by genetics, but by the context that surrounds us. Your nervous system adapts to the temperature around you. Your behavior adapts even to the emotional climate you live in. You may enter an environment that is so loud and yet you're an introvert. By the time you leave these offices, this organization, you are who they are. Am I speaking to somebody and I'm making sense to somebody? Your sense of self adapts to the environment that repeatedly receives you. This is so true in our workplaces, it's also true in our relationships, our marriages, our friendships, and the communities in which we choose to live in. And this is why chronic stress changes personalities. This is why unsafe spaces dull creativity. You walk in with high energy, but you find that the environment that is receiving you is not ready for your energy. You begin to die down. You begin to conform to the environment, and your creativity almost disappears. It's also why hostile environments exhaust gentle people. I hope this message, this podcast is landing with somebody. It's resonating with somebody. You see, you're not failing at all. You are sometimes simply overheating. In fact, let me speak plainly now. If you're a plastic container, for example, you will not survive long in high heat, would you? If you're a glass container, you cannot keep expanding indefinitely to accommodate cold and hostile conditions. At some point, glass cracks. And sometimes when glass shatters, it doesn't go back together again. Is this familiar? There are things in life, there are circumstances in life, there are paths in life that have allowed you to expand, and the environment thought your expansion was indefinite. And what happened? You crack so badly, no matter what, you cannot be put back together. You need to understand yourself so that you don't find yourself in hostile conditions. So the question is not how strong you are. No, not at all. The question is this environment worthy of what you contain, what you bring to the table? See, my mother used to say something so simple, yet so loaded, as she would say. A child does not grow in just one place. A child goes to school, they learn. They go to church, they learn. They go to the park, they learn habits there. They interact with their friends away from school and they learn. So a child does not just grow and learn from just one place. And what she meant by this was both physical and spiritual. So growth requires movement. Wisdom requires discernment. I'm speaking to somebody here. And purpose requires appropriate conditions so that you can download your content. You see, staying where you are tolerated when you are meant to be cultivated is not humility. It is neglect to yourself. Don't stay where you're just tolerated. Understand environments where you are being cultivated into something much bigger than your brain, than your body and soul can actually imagine. Let me widen the lens, if I may, just slightly. Allow me. See, across faiths, across cultures, across different beliefs, there's a shared understanding. I know some may contradict, but allow me to expand. Christianity speaks of vessels. Islam speaks of trust and amana. African spirituality speaks of essence and calling. Buddhism speaks of right environment for the right growth. These are completely different languages, but the same truth. What you carry matters. And mishandling it is not bravery. Please don't do that. Don't do it for anybody. Don't do it for any environment. Don't do it for any relationship. Don't do it for any friendships. Because it is irresponsibility. Let me tell you a little story. There's a young boy. I'm going to call him Young Manu. just about to be a teenager. From the moment he can speak, he says the same thing. One day, yes ma'am, one day, I will be the president, the CEO of my family's company. And of course, as people do, we smile. Oh, we did the cruise. Oh, isn't he lovely? Some laugh. Some say he's just a child. But here's what they don't see. Allow me. Young man who watches everything. He's listening carefully. He's also questioning adults around him. And he's asking questions that adults perhaps may overlook. What this is telling us is he understands people. The world already responds to him differently. Teachers notice him, right? They give him time to speak. Strangers encourage him. Opportunities find him early. But how? And why? Well, because containers don't wait for permission to contain. Are you with me? I said containers don't wait for permission to contain. You see, purpose doesn't start when you get a title. It starts when content is present. And I told you at the very start, you are a container with content. From the moment that you're born, it's the environment, it's the people you hang around, it's the people, the environments that will change the composition of your content. See, this young man, he's a container with incredible content, and it's required for a future season in his family's business. And if you mishandle him, oh yes, if you place him in environments that crush curiosity, that mock his vision of being the president and CEO of his company, that belittle his aspirations, you don't just hurt a child, you delay a future leader. And this young child could be the intern in your offices, the volunteer that comes to your organizations. Don't overlook any container until you understand its content. Now bring that story back to yourself. You may not necessarily be a teenager, but the principle still applies, okay? Some of you are carrying executive visions in junior roles. Yes, I said it here. Some of you are carrying healing gifts in hostile spaces. I hear you and I see you. Some of you are carrying innovation in environments that reward conformity. I see you. The curious and enthusiastic innovator. Some of you are carrying leadership in rooms that only understand compliance. May the world open for you. And you keep wondering why you feel constrained. Well, it's not arrogance to acknowledge what you carry. You owe it to yourself. It's responsibility. I want us to go deeper here. You see, when you don't understand your container, you do three dangerous things, very dangerous things. There may be more, but I want to point out three. You stay too long where you should transition. Sometimes we need to understand when our content can no longer stay in an environment that no longer serves us. Sometimes you need to understand when the content that you carry requires a different kind of environment for you to grow. Sometimes you need to understand that the environment that you are staying in for so long is actually drought-stricken. The rain will never come. That is number one. The second one is you adapt in ways that damage your essence, your calling. Remember we spoke about this? Your growth. Don't bend for anyone when it hurts. Don't position yourself to squeeze in a tight corner when there's other spaces you can stand. I hope I'm speaking to somebody today. Number 3, the most third dangerous thing is you make endurance for purpose. You mistake that endurance, that pain for purpose, and the brain pays the price, unfortunately. Chronic misalignment, which then lead to emotional numbness. You no longer feel things. You no longer get excited about life. Decision fatigue. It takes you longer to decide where you need to head, what you need to do, or which path you ought to take. And all of this leads to loss of motivation and identity confusion. From the bubbly self to this person that perhaps sees no value in themselves. You start to circle the same problems. People continue to do the same thing that you said you can no longer tolerate. Because when you have identity confusion, you're not very clear with yourself. And when you're emotionally numb, you can no longer serve purposely. You begin to find yourself in the same conversations. You continue with the same frustrations, not because you're stuck, but because the container has not been honored. You have not understood what kind of a container you are and what you contain and what others will see when they pour your contents out. Let me ask you something, and please sit with us. Are you asking people around you to reduce the heat when the truth is you need to change the room? Are you maybe expanding endlessly just to survive the cold conditions when the body is already warning you, please, this is too much? Only just this last week gone, my partner and I traveled to the far end of the furthest point I hear of land in Scotland, John O'Groats. It was freezing. It was cold. If somebody asked me, would you stay there for much longer? I would say no, because my body was warning me, let's move, let's go. While beautiful, while significant, I couldn't expand endlessly to survive these cold conditions. I was desperate for more warmth, so we needed to move and change our path to find warmth. We had to shift the room. We couldn't increase the heat in this place, no, because that is the environment that it is. So I have to move myself from that environment. And my thing is, at what point do you stop adapting? You see, at what point does resilience become self-betrayal? Who are you betraying? Yourself or the people around you? There's times when you need to actually start aligning. But here's the truth I want to leave with you. And I will say this with lots and lots of love, honestly. You will not fully shine until you understand what you carry. You will not stop going in circles until you respect your container, the person that you are, who you are, and what you bring, your purpose, your content. And you will not thrive until your environment matches your purpose. From me to you, I want to tell you this. You are not too much. Sometime last year, Dr. Eunice Simpson had a class with some incredible young kids, young adults. One of them said, Alison, everywhere I go, people tell me I'm too much. young lady, you are not too much. You are not fragile either, and you are not difficult. The people that keep telling you to minimize, keep telling you to take pain like as if it's nothing, I am telling you, you are not difficult. It's them. You are valuable content in need of appropriate conditions. And I want to tell you that you are a container with content. And you don't need to wait for permission for your container to contain something, because you are already born with purpose. You are already filled with content. You either increase it or decrease it. You are a container with content. From me to you, from human focus to your organization, it's goodbye for now. Until next time.